Welcome to our discussion on false allegations against step-parents. This area is fraught with challenges, particularly around discipline. As a step-parent, it's crucial to engage thoughtfully, ensuring any disciplinary action involves the biological parent. Stay informed, stay involved, but above all, stay out of trouble.
An area where we see an awful lot of false allegations is in the step-parent area. It's very important, if you're the step-parent, to be above reproach in everything that you do. Quite often we have kids that might prefer the other parent, the other biological parent. Anything you do that's improper, the kid will report back to that parent. And before you know it, the police are winding up at your doorstep. It's very important that you're not the primary disciplinarian. When you have stepkids, if the other biological parent is actively involved, make sure that the biological parent is the one that's putting out the discipline. Yes, you should have input. You're a couple. You should be talking about things. But make sure the biological parent is the one that's actually implementing this discipline. Or at the very least, do it jointly.
As an aside to this, I know you've been in this personal situation.
Yes.
Is that a rule you followed in your personal life?
100%.
Really?
Yes. Keeps you out of trouble with the kid, the other parent, and more importantly, your spouse.
That might be a good rule too.
That's the best rule. Yes.
Okay. So even if you do find yourself in position where your significant other relies on you to be the male figure, for example, in the relationship, please make sure that everything you do when it comes to discipline comes from the right place in your heart. We always tell clients, for example, never punish when you're angry, right? Never do it out of anger. Do it in order to teach a lesson, but don't do it when you're angry. Use appropriate professional support and be sure to involve other professionals where necessary to address the behavior by your unruly teenager. And, Roland, very often we see allegations of sexual misconduct come from kids who have been indoctrinated in these topics in their school settings. And some of them are quite sophisticated for their age, especially with older teenagers. And so they know that, hey, if I get in trouble, for example, for cutting class, for having drugs on me, for going out with older boys, for sneaking out, for having cell phone when I'm not supposed to have a cell phone, for talking to adults, maybe sexually online, these kids know that all they have to do is make an allegation that their step-parent is somehow touching them inappropriately or abusing them inappropriately. And then what do you know? All of a sudden, all sins are forgiven. Yes. Everybody forgets what trouble you're in. And the focus is all on your victimization or alleged victimization and not on that child's transgressions or misbehaviors. So with that in mind, if you're the step-parent, please be aware of that. Be very, very careful. And remember, you got to protect yourself at all times. Make sure to delegate, like Roland said, where possible, disciplinary decisions to your spouse or your significant other. And if you're in a school setting or a medical setting or working with social worker, please remember, anything the child reports to a social worker, to a nurse, or to a teacher will be reported to law enforcement because all of these categories of professionals are mandated reporters under California law. It is illegal for them not to forward a report of abuse, even if they don't believe it. And so as a result, this will be the start of a criminal investigation, whether you like it or not, whether or not the mandated reporter even believes the child. And then once police get involved, this may take on a life of its own and start something you may not be able to stop down the road.
You also must remember that all communications need to be proper with your children, especially any stepchildren. Do not talk sex with your stepkids. Not if you're an older male talking to a younger female without her mom. Do not act like you're their best friend. You're still a parent and you need to act like one.
I agree. It's a good rule to live by.
It's an absolute good rule.
To stay out of trouble.
To stay out of trouble.